The great chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with voices. The air was heavy with tension. Tall alien figures from every corner of the galaxy sat in wide circles, their eyes glowing in the dim light. They had gathered in secret, for fear had begun to spread like fire. Whispers had reached them, whispers of humans, the species many once called young, weak, and unprepared for the stars. But now the whispers told a different story, a story that made even the oldest empires nervous. At the center of the chamber, an elder creature raised his long arms. His voice carried over the chaos. "Council members, we face something none of us have seen before," he said. "Reports speak of human units, small in number, yet they crush armies 10 times larger." Laughter broke out from one corner. A heavy reptilian commander slammed his claw on the table. "Humans? Special forces? Lies. We are the galaxy's greatest warriors. No primitive world-born soldiers can scare us." But the laughter faded when Admiral Razier, a stern figure from the Vraxis Dominion, stood and placed a hologram before them. The image showed burning cities, shattered fleets, and alien troops running in fear. "This is no rumor," he said. "This is proof. This is what a single squad of human special forces did to one of our forward colonies." The chamber grew silent. Council members leaned closer. They saw humans moving through smoke like shadows, striking with weapons that tore through armor, moving faster, sharper, and with terrifying precision. No hesitation, no mercy. The alien soldiers in the hologram broke ranks, screaming. Some threw down their weapons and fled. Others begged for surrender. A nervous counselor hissed, "This cannot be true. No small group could cause this much damage." Admiral Razier's eyes glowed cold. "Then explain this. These humans were not an army. They were a handful of soldiers. And yet, entire regiments crumbled." A deep silence spread across the chamber. The whispers now felt heavier. One voice dared to ask, if this is their special forces, then what of their regular armies? The question lingered like smoke. In the far corner, a council elder, ancient and wise, spoke slowly. "For years we dismissed humans. We saw them as reckless explorers, as children playing with fire. But perhaps we were wrong. Perhaps the fire they play with is far more dangerous than we believed." The tension in the chamber rose higher. Each counselor looked at the other. Fear was no longer hidden. It was painted across their faces. One young counselor shook his head. "But surely they cannot threaten all of us. We are many. They are only one species." But even as he spoke, more holograms flickered to life, reports from across different sectors, fleets vanishing without battle, fortresses left abandoned, colonies surrendering at the sight of human soldiers. The elder repeated his warning. "We laughed when they called them special forces. We laughed because we thought the word was empty, but now the word burns through our halls, and we tremble." For a moment, no one spoke. The chamber felt frozen. Then suddenly, a communication officer rushed into the room, his scales pale with fear. He held a datapad in trembling claws. "Another report," he gasped. "From the frontier." The council turned, waiting. The officer's voice shook. A single human squad entered the battle on Torvok 3. They faced 3,000 troops of the Drava Legion. In less than 1 hour, the Drava broke, surrendered, and abandoned the fortress. No survivors stayed to resist. Gasps filled the chamber. Some counselors rose from their seats. Others covered their eyes. The reptilian commander who had laughed before sat in silence now. His claws scraped the table, but his voice was gone. Admiral Razier's words cut like a blade. "I tell you now, this is only the beginning. If their special forces can do this, then imagine what their armies can do." Every counselor knew the truth. The galaxy had faced many wars, but this was different. This was fear they could not explain, fear that reached into their bones. The elder leaned forward. His ancient eyes glowed softly. "The humans are not showing us their strength. They are showing us their shadow, and already we tremble." The whispers rose again, but this time no one dismissed them, for in their hearts they all felt the same chill. The chamber doors closed and silence ruled. But the question echoed in every mind, a question none dared to answer. If their special forces are this terrifying, what will happen when humanity unleashes its entire army? The world of Torvok 3 lay silent under the shadow of smoke. Broken ships hovered in orbit. their hulls scorched and shattered. The once proud fortress of the Drava Legion was nothing more than a graveyard of steel. From the ruined gates walked a single survivor, his armor cracked, his breathing ragged, his eyes were wide with terror. He was no ordinary soldier. He was a commander of the Drava Legion, yet his body shook as if he had seen death itself. He stumbled into the hands of the rescue fleet, his words spilling out in broken whispers. They came. Not many, only a few. Humans. The Council's scouts recorded every word. His testimony spread across the chamber. Counselors leaned closer to listen. Some whispered in disbelief, others stared in silence. The Drava commander explained, "We prepared traps, we mined the ground, we waited with 3,000 warriors. They came at night, they moved like shadows, their eyes glowed through the dark. We fired first, but they did not fall. They moved faster than anything we had seen. They struck from every angle, no pattern, no hesitation, no fear." He dropped to his knees, his voice breaking. "I begged for my life. They let me live, only so I could deliver a message." The chamber fell silent. The council leader demanded, "What message?" The commander's trembling lips formed the words, "Tell them, we are coming." The words echoed like thunder through the council hall. A cold silence swallowed every corner. Counselors shifted uneasily. Some demanded to know if it was a lie, but the evidence was undeniable. Admiral Razier spoke once more, his voice low. "Understand what this means. The humans do not simply fight. They are hunting. They are testing us." One elder hissed, "Testing us? For what?" Razier's gaze was sharp. "For the real war." On the other side of the galaxy, another battle brewed. A fleet of the Xylar Dominion moved to secure the trade routes. Their numbers were vast, thousands of ships in formation. Their commander, Lord Karun, laughed at the fear spreading through the council. "Humans are only one world-born race," he growled. "We are an empire of 1,000 systems. We will crush them like insects." But deep in the shadows of the nebula, human ships waited. Not many, only a handful. They did not attack head-on. Instead, they drifted like ghosts, their signals hidden. Suddenly, one by one, Xylar ships began to vanish from formation. Explosions bloomed in silence. The fleet broke ranks. Confusion spread. "Where are they? Where are they?" cried the Xylar officers. But the humans struck again, and again, and again, always from nowhere. Lord Karun watched in disbelief as his fleet of thousands turned into a scattered storm. His soldiers broke discipline, fear spreading faster than orders could control. And then the voice came through the comms, calm and cold. "This is only a fraction of our strength. Do not mistake mercy for weakness." The Xylar fleet retreated, not because of destruction, but because of fear. The humans had shown them just enough to break their spirit. Back in the council chamber, more reports poured in, colonies surrendering without battle, armies refusing to fight. The word human had become a curse whispered in dark halls. One counselor slammed his hands on the table, his voice trembling. "If their special forces can do this, then their regular soldiers must be demons." Another whispered, "Perhaps worse than demons." The council's great leader finally rose, his tall frame trembling though he tried to hide it. His voice echoed, "This is no longer rumor, no longer story. Humanity has become a shadow over us all. If we do not act now, there will be nothing left to rule." But before another word could be spoken, an alarm rang through the chamber, the emergency signal. A messenger burst in, gasping, his wings trembling. "Another attack," he cried, "this time not by special forces, this time by their regular army." The chamber froze. A storm of terror swept across every face. If the whispers of special forces had shaken them, then the thought of the common army rising was a nightmare none could face. The council chamber had never felt so fragile. Once it was the heart of galactic power, but now it felt like a cage of fear. The air was heavy, every voice trembled, every eye shifted toward the glowing reports flashing across the walls. The latest message repeated again and again. Human regular army sighted, casualties unknown, colonies abandoned. One counselor, his scales dark and wet with sweat, whispered, "If their special forces were shadows, what does it mean if their ordinary soldiers are this strong?" Admiral Razier slammed his fist against the table. It means everything we thought we knew about war is broken. It means humans have rewritten the rules. But the counselors were not united. Some shouted for peace talks, others demanded full mobilization of fleets. The chamber turned into chaos. In the noise, Elder Theran, the oldest of them all, raised his voice, calm yet heavy. We sit here arguing while our armies collapse. You do not understand. Fear is spreading faster than Oben. Birders, our soldiers fear the humans more than death itself. The words cut through the noise. A silence fell, broken only by the crackle of incoming transmissions. One hologram lit up, showing the battlefield of Caltris Prime. Thousands of alien soldiers stood ready, their banners raised. The human army marched forward, not elite, not special, just soldiers in plain armor. But they marched without hesitation. Their steps were steady, their formation unbroken, their eyes cold and fearless. The alien army fired first, explosions tearing the ground. But the humans did not stop. They advanced through fire and smoke, each line moving like a single living creature. Alien officers shouted, but their soldiers wavered. The humans came closer, closer, until the alien lines broke apart. Thousands fled, leaving their weapons behind. The counselors stared in horror as the hologram ended. One of them whispered, "Those were not special forces. Those were their common soldiers." Fear spread across the chamber like wildfire. Some counselors collapsed into their seats, others hid their faces. Then another voice came through, this one from a captured alien general. His voice was hollow. "I faced them. I gave every command. I watched my men break. I watched them fall to terror. Humanity does not win because of weapons. They win because they are unbreakable." His final words chilled the chamber. Fight them, and you face death. Surrender, and they let you live. But in either choice, they win. The panic inside the chamber grew louder. "We must act now before they reach our core worlds," shouted one. "No, we must beg for peace. If we fight, we will all be destroyed," cried another. Admiral Razier's eyes burned as he answered, "Do you not see? They have already defeated us, not with weapons, but with fear. Even if we build more fleets, our soldiers will not stand. They will run. They will surrender." For the first time in centuries, the Council realized their unity was broken. Their empires, once proud, were shaking like leaves in a storm. Then the alarm blared again. A messenger rushed in, his wings folded tight in dread. His voice cracked as he spoke. "A human fleet has been detected near the outer rim. Not a small squad, not a shadow strike, an entire formation." The chamber froze. Time itself seemed to hold still. The elder's voice trembled. "So this is it. The special forces were only the whisper. The army is the storm." And then came the final message, transmitted across all frequencies, clear and cold. A human voice, steady as stone. "We warned you. This is not war for conquest. This is war for respect. And now you will learn it." The words struck harder than weapons. The Council sat in silence, fear gripping their hearts. The galaxy was no longer theirs. It belonged to the shadows of humanity. The Council chamber no longer echoed with argument. It echoed with silence. Silence heavier than steel. For the reports coming in no longer spoke of battles. They spoke of nightmares. The galaxy began to call it the Phantom War, a war where humans fought without warning, struck without mercy, and vanished without trace. On the frontier world of Zarkesh, an alien army of 40,000 soldiers waited in trenches, confident in their strength. They believed they would stop the humans here. But when the night fell, the battlefield grew cold and quiet. At first, nothing moved. Then shadows slipped through the dark, silent and fast. Human soldiers appeared like ghosts. Their steps left no sound. Their weapons fired once, then silence again. Panic spread through the trenches. Soldiers cried out, but no enemy stood before them. Only fear. A captain shouted orders, but his own men turned and ran screaming, "They are everywhere. They are behind us. They are in our minds." By morning, not a single trench remained occupied. The army had abandoned the field without a fight. The fortress gates were left open, not because of battle, but because of terror. In the council chamber, another hollow report flickered to life, showing the wreckage of the Xylar Dominion fleet, thousands of ships scattered like broken glass. The counselors gasped. Some wept openly. The recording showed no great battle, no long fight. Instead, ships vanished one by one as if swallowed by the void. Human vessels appeared only for seconds, unleashed fire, then disappeared into silence. A counselor's voice shook. They do not fight wars. They erase them. Admiral Razir's face was grim. They fight like shadows. They are not here to conquer. They are here to remind us we cannot hide. Not in space, not on land, not anywhere. The fear spread faster than fleets could move. Entire colonies surrendered the moment human signals appeared. Civilians abandoned cities. Armies dropped their weapons before a shot was fired. But the most terrifying report came from the world of Nathora, where a group of human soldiers captured an enemy fortress without killing a single defender. They walked in silent formation, their faces cold and unbroken. The alien soldiers simply laid down their weapons and knelt. The humans passed them like statues, placing their flag on the tower without shedding blood. One counselor cried out, "This is not war, this is domination of the spirit." The elder leaned forward, his voice soft but sharp. "And yet, do you not see? They are merciful. They could destroy us completely, but they choose not to." The chamber shook with confusion. Some shouted that mercy was only a trick. Others said it was worse than death. For mercy meant humans did not even consider them equals in battle. They considered them already beaten. Then came the most chilling message of all, a broadcast captured from a human commander addressing his soldiers. The words echoed across the chamber. "We do not fight for conquest. We fight to end the illusion. They must understand that respect is the only law of the stars. We will break their fear by giving it back to them." The counselors shivered, not because of the violence, but because of the calm in the voice, a calm that belonged not to monsters, but to men who knew victory was certain. The panic returned, but it was no longer simple fear, it was despair. One counselor slammed his claws on the table. "How do we fight shadows? How do we fight soldiers who do not bleed, who do not break, who do not stop?" Another whispered, his voice like wind, "We do not fight them. We survive them." But Admiral Razir's eyes burned with fire. "No, you still do not understand. This is only the shadow of their true army. If this is what they do with fragments, imagine when they send everything." The chamber fell to silence again. Then the alarm sounded, louder than before. A messenger rushed in, his eyes wide with terror. "The humans are moving. Not squads, not shadows. An entire fleet, and they are coming this way." The chamber shook. Fear became a living thing. The council knew the Phantom War was only the beginning. The real storm was coming. The council chamber was no longer a place of debate. It was a place of despair. The walls that once echoed with arrogance now echoed with fear. The greatest illusion in the galaxy, that the council commanded strength, was breaking apart piece by piece. Reports bled across the room, each one worse than the last. On Varela Prime, entire fleets refused to launch. Soldiers abandoned their posts. Commanders begged for reassignment far from human space. On the colonies of Axtor, citizens themselves surrendered before soldiers could even prepare defenses. They waved white banners when human signals appeared. One trembling counselor whispered, "We thought our armies were iron, but they are sand. One touch of the humans, and they scatter." Another slammed his hands on the table. "Cowards! All cowards! We must punish them." But Admiral Razir cut him down with a glare. "Do you not see? This is not cowardice, this is truth. Our armies have seen what humans do. They know resistance is meaningless. No punishment will rebuild their courage." Across the stars, the illusion shattered further. The proud fleets of the Xylar Dominion, once boasting thousands of warships, now moved like broken beasts. Officers could not command discipline. Soldiers trembled at rumors alone. A single whisper of human approach was enough to break entire formations. On one battlefield, a human transport landed before an alien fortress. No weapons fired, no threats made, only the sound of boots striking the ground as rows of ordinary human soldiers marched forward, their armor unpolished, their weapons simple. Yet the fortress gates opened from within. Thousands of alien defenders dropped their weapons, surrendering without a single shot fired. The message was clear. Humanity no longer needed to fight. Fear fought for them. Inside the council chamber, Elder Thuran spoke slowly, his voice almost sorrowful. Do you not understand? They never needed their special forces. They never needed their fleets. We tremble because even their ordinary soldier carries the weight of legends. A counselor spat back. Then what are we? If our champions cannot face their common men? The elder's eyes glowed cold. We are prey, and they have shown us mercy only because they choose to. The chamber shook as the truth settled in. They were no longer rulers, no longer untouchable. They were nothing more than frightened children staring at giants. Then came the broadcast that broke the galaxy. A human commander spoke directly to the stars. His voice echoed through every channel, calm, steady, undeniable. We are not here to rule you. We are here to remind you, respect is the foundation of peace. You thought us weak. You thought us foolish. Now you see, even our ordinars. I soldiers carry the strength of worlds. If you wish to live, learn respect. If you choose war, know that you have already lost. The words burned into every empire's memory. The speech was not loud, not arrogant, but the calm certainty inside it was more terrifying than any weapon. In panic, the council tried one last desperate act. They summoned their armies for a massive rally. Fleets were ordered to gather at the core worlds. Millions of soldiers were called to defend the council's honor. But when the rally began, only half arrived. The rest deserted, vanished, or surrendered. Even those who came stood in silence, their eyes downcast. The illusion was gone. The council could no longer pretend to be powerful. The galaxy now saw the truth. Humanity had broken them without conquering a single throne. The chamber grew dark. The elder whispered words no one wanted to hear. The age of the council is over. The age of humanity has begun. And then, before anyone could respond, an emergency signal flashed across the chamber. A human fleet had entered their core territories. This time it was not shadows, not whispers, not raids. This time it was the storm. The council chamber was silent. Every member sat frozen, their eyes fixed on the massive screen before them. The emergency signal had turned into a live broadcast, not from spies, not from rumor, but from the humans themselves. In the black void of space, a human fleet appeared. It was not one ship, not one squadron, but thousands. Each vessel moved in perfect formation, their dark hulls reflecting the light of distant stars. The silence of space made them even more terrifying, for they did not roar, they did not boast, they simply existed. And their presence alone crushed the hearts of those watching. One counselor whispered, trembling, This is not an army. This is a force of nature. As the fleet advanced, human channels opened across the galaxy. Civilizations, colonies, soldiers, civilians, all watched the same transmission, a Huma. And Commander appeared on the screen, his face calm, his voice steady. To the council, to the rulers of the stars, you have mocked us, underestimated us, and feared shadows. Now you will see the truth. Humanity does not need deception. Humanity does not need mercy to prove its strength. We show you this so you understand. Resistance is foolishness. Respect is survival. The fleet began to demonstrate, but not with destruction. They targeted a dead moon near the council's core, a barren world with no life, no cities, no colonies. At a single command, the human fleet fired in unison. The moon cracked apart like glass, split into fragments that drifted into the void. A world destroyed in seconds. Gasps filled the chamber. Some counselors screamed. Others collapsed to their knees, for no council fleet had ever shown such unity, such power, such silence and destruction. Then, as the fragments drifted, the human commander's voice returned, calm and unbroken. This is not war. This is a reminder of what happens when patience is mistaken for weakness. If we wished, your worlds would already be dust. But we do not wish for dust. We wish for peace built on respect. The message spread faster than light. Armies across the galaxy received it. Soldiers who once believed in their strength now lowered their weapons. Civilians who once mocked humanity now whispered prayers of fear. Entire empires bowed before the image of the shattered moon. Back in the chamber, Elder Thurin's voice cracked with awe. Do you not see? They have the strength to destroy us, yet they choose not to. They hold the galaxy in their hands, and still they show mercy. That mercy is more terrifying than their weapons. Admiral Razir's face was pale, his voice low. This is their message. They want us to understand we cannot control them. We cannot resist them. The only choice left is respect. Oh, a ruin. But not all counselors agreed. Some shouted in desperation, "This is intimidation. This is slavery disguised as mercy. We cannot bow to them." Yet their voices trembled, for even as they spoke, the human fleet remained above, unmoving, watching like silent gods. And then the most chilling moment came. A second broadcast lit up the chamber, not from the humans, but from the alien colonies themselves. Leaders of once proud empires knelt before human envoys, pledging surrender without a fight. One by one, the galaxy was bending, not by conquest, but by fear. The chamber broke into chaos again. Some demanded surrender, others demanded war. But Elder Thuran silenced them with a single phrase. It does not matter what we decide. The galaxy has already decided. Humanity is the power now. The words struck like a blade. The counselors looked around, and for the first time they realized they were not rulers anymore. They were relics of a broken age. The broadcast ended, but the silence of the chamber remained. Outside, the human fleet waited, not striking, not moving, simply watching. As if daring the galaxy to choose, the council chamber had become a tomb of silence. The galaxy's rulers sat in their seats like statues. The human fleet still hovered beyond their core worlds, vast, silent, unstoppable. Its shadow stretched across every star system, reminding them that resistance was no longer an option. Then, the chamber's great screen lit up again. The human commander returned, his face calm, his words slow. We have shown you our shadows. We have shown you our armies. We have shown you our mercy. Now hear our final lesson. Every counselor leaned forward, some with hope, others with terror. The commander continued. We did not come to enslave you. We did not come to conquer you. If we wanted that, your worlds would already be ashes. We came to remind you of balance. We came to teach you respect. Your empires believed strength was domination. You believed fear was control. But you were wrong. True strength is restraint. True power is mercy. As his words spread, the humans activated a new display, not of destruction, but of mercy. Holograms poured into every world across the galaxy, showing recordings of human soldiers sparing enemies, feeding prisoners, protecting civilians. Alien soldiers who had once called humans monsters now saw them offering water to captives. Human medics treating even the wounded enemies. Their mercy was undeniable, their discipline unbreakable. The galaxy realized the truth. Humanity had not crushed them with numbers, nor with weapons. Humanity had crushed them with choice. They showed they could destroy everything, but they chose not to. One counselor whispered, trembling, "They are not warriors. They are something greater." The chamber trembled as another voice echoed, not from humans, but from across the stars. Leaders of alien worlds, once defiant, now bowed before humanity. Their voices declared the same words. We surrender, we submit, we respect. The council panicked. Some shouted, we are the rightful rulers, we cannot bend. But their voices were drowned by the truth outside. Their armies were gone, their fleets broken, their colonies surrendered. The galaxy itself had already chosen. Elder Thuran rose, his ancient frame shaking, his voice cracked but clear. It is over. We are no longer rulers. The galaxy belongs to humanity now, not by force, but by fear, not by war, but by respect. At that moment, the human commander spoke again, his final words seared into history. Remember this day. Remember what you saw. Humanity does not need to conquer. Humanity does not need to destroy. But if ever again you mistake patience for weakness, you will remember the shadow of our fleet, and you will remember this mercy was your last chance. The broadcast ended. The human fleet withdrew. Not a single shot fired at a living world. They left, as silently as they had come, but their message remained, carved into the stars. The galaxy would never forget. Years later, historians would call it the Day of Shadows, the day the Council fell without a war, the day humanity rose without an empire, the day mercy became the sharpest weapon. And from that day forward, across every star, a single truth was whispered, a truth none dared to doubt. Fear their fleets, respect their armies, but above all, never test the patience of humanity.